Hello.
Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about having lender's mortgage insurance. Is it worth it or is not worth it? So this is based on our property portfolio, I guess, let's say.
Our personal experience.
Our personal experience yes. on all the property that we acquired so far, based using our own money. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So in the beginning of our investment strategy, let's say, it was purely just buy and hold, in a sense. And because we both have no idea what we're doing, well, I'll let you take over your first.
Yeah, when I first buying the property, I was purely for investment. I didn't really know what lender mortgage insurance was. I just doing research. I wanted to get into the market quick. I accumulated 10% at that time, and I did calculation and read some book, and something lender mortgage insurance is worth it because by the time you save your money, maybe the property price increased already. So I put down my 10%, and my return was okay. It was break even at that time because my rental income was pretty high.
So I guess it works out to be like you gotta work out how much is the rental income going to be.
Yes.
Based on your deposit, how much is your mortgage going to be? So the lender's mortgage insurance is, I guess, in a sense, it's an insurance for the bank. It's not for you. So bear that in mind. So at the same time, for a smaller deposit amount, you can get and start purchasing your property. However, the repayment is slightly higher compared to if you put down 20% or higher. So like I guess, yeah, depending on your strategy, what is it that you're trying to do? In this instance, you were trying to just get into the market.
Yeah.
So,
and I remember that time the broker said, "Oh, it's okay, just the LMI just put into your loan. You can't really feel it."
Yeah, it doesn't. I guess it's inbuilt with your repayment. In a sense,
they put it on top.
They put it on top of the loan. So if your loan is 400 grand or something like that, they put down in the loan document, your lender's mortgage insurance will be X amount of dollars, and that would, I guess, in a sense, deteriorate as you go along because you're paying that as you go.
But then they add up interest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
at the end is maybe doubling or even tripling the price.
So, like it's. In a sense, that's our first investment property. Yeah? So the second one, we took an equity, or after a while of owning that first one, we took out an equity of that property. So we went back to the bank and asked for a revaluation if there's actually
increase in value.
Yeah. They did a calculation. Apparently, it did. Simone was able to get her deposit out.
Yes.
Yeah. So the 10% was out. So it increases more than 10%, so they take it out. From that, we were able to acquire the second property. Yeah.
But the second property, we only pay for 5%.
We only put down 5%.
Because we wanted to get into the market now.
Correct. So, so the first one was 10%, take out an equity and acquire a second one. And then a third one, we put down also 5%.
Yeah, that's our saving money.
Yeah. So that's the second one, and then we also put down a fourth property with 20% down. Yeah. So as a whole, we've done both.
The mortgage insurance with or without it.
With or without it, but
I'll say there's no right or wrong. It all depends on your strategy
and your current circumstances as well.
Exactly.
So
if at my current situation, if I want to do it again, I'll do 20%. I don't want to pay for that lender mortgage insurance.
Yeah, it works out to be a lot, like a couple of grand or something like that.
Yes, I remember that when the third property we had, and the loan amount is pretty much exactly the same as the purchase price, which means our 5% is gone.
Yeah.
Is already in the loan LMI. They put it in there, so our 5% is just.
It's just on fees.
Yes.
So yes. On fees and administration costs, it costs about 5% or so. But yeah, it's sort of like the way I look at it is this: you can, let's say as a whole, we did what, 10, 5, 5, and 20, yeah? So technically, we put down quite a lot in there. So if we were to do 20% each, we would only require, let's say, 2 properties. Maximum.
Yeah.
But
it takes a long time for us to save up our own money as well.
Yeah.
Because if we do it again, maybe now we're a lot more conservative. Maybe we just put 20% and then we save a lot more money. We're not going to withdraw the equity from the first property.
Yeah.
So it may take a long time. So maybe property price already gone up.
Correct.
That maybe. On the other side, maybe the property price just
stagnated, or if not, going backwards.
Yes.
So,
but you never know.
On top of that, we didn't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's bound to be people out there that is in the same boat. We would just trust on, I guess, the team that we work on, we work with.
Yes.
But yeah, if I were to do it all over again, I'll probably do the same thing. I'll have the 20% deposit.
Yeah.
Depending where you are in life.
Yes.
So
yeah, when we did the 5% and 10%, we're single, earning income, no kids.
No kids.
So we have pretty good serviceability. I'm sure that at that time, if we were not having kids, we didn't have kids, we can get more properties with low deposit. But now, since we have kids and a lot of uncertainties, because you just don't want to be too risky when you have little ones to look after. So that's why we choose to have 20% if we can do it again. But if we didn't have kids, I think I'll still do 5 and 10% because I want to get more properties.
So
yes, but but the thing is, what you have to think is when there is no tenant and you have to pay for those amount, then that may be a bit too much.
It's a bit, like, especially now where you're not working anymore, so we rely on the passive income from the property to fulfill your daily activities, let's say. So when there's for example, we have a couple of wear and tear, let's say, in the property on one of them, I think the first one, and now I look at it, those are additional costs that we have to deal with. I mean, all of them, it was somewhat negatively gearing. That's the worst part of it. It was negatively gearing. If you have multiple properties and then they're all negatively gearing, that's costing you money day in, day out. When there's a tenant damage or a wear and tear, you kind of have to figure out how can you get the money? How can you get the money to make all those excess repairs, let's say?
Yes.
Because as much as you rely on your tenant to pay, rent in there, they're bound to have a couple of damages here and there.
Yes. And what if you can't rent it out?
Yeah, the worst part was like when we were out overseas, we can't rent it out, and the agent wasn't communicating with us properly. They said they try to call us when we're overseas, not even in email, which is a lot more frustrating. So you gotta have that surplus, saving ready to go in case of emergency. So and also depending on the type of strategy that you're trying to do. This was based on the old method of buying and hold, but we don't do that anymore. We do a little bit of mix, but majority of them we don't. And depending if it makes sense to you on the numbers, like if you put down 5% but it's still generating your passive income, if it's still your rental is still a lot more compared to your expenses.
I think it all depends on the location of the property, because some of them maybe regional area you can get a higher rental income, but management fee will be higher, and maybe there will be take longer to get tenants. Yes, or what's that called? Vacancy rate will be a lot higher.
Yeah.
So that's all pros and cons. It just depends on what you like, what you're comfortable at.
But at the same time, you wouldn't know this until you take action.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theory out there in the books. We read quite a lot of books, but you wouldn't know the obstacle as you go through it. So the motion of it, I guess, I learned so much by just doing it instead of just expecting the what if. I mean, I suppose we did the whole entire night, man. We've done the worst part of it.
Well, Who knows?
Who knows? So, but yeah, so as a whole, lender's mortgage insurance is all depending on your strategy, depending what you're trying to do. Like from our point of view, if we were to do 20% or higher, we probably only acquire 2 properties instead of 4 properties. So, and all depending on what is the outcome of it. Is it gonna make sense to you financially in the back end? Is it gonna create your passive income? If it does, then do it. But if it doesn't, don't do it.
Yeah.
So for us now, we ended up on our property number 3. We actually have to because it was negatively gearing. We ended up injecting a lot more fund in there.
Yeah. We pay off a lot more principal.
We pay off a lot more principal. One, to make it, it's positive now, right?
Yes,
yeah.
positive.
So now it's actually not on the negatively gearing anymore. So that's one other option. Possibly in the near future, for example, like a scenario would be you're getting into the market now at 5%. Let's say tomorrow somehow you find a better job or something, or somehow you acquire more funding somehow, like win a lottery or something like that, and then you're able to put more into that property. Then that's probably better off instead of just waiting until you earn that 20%. Because so like maybe like the other options, like what we do is we pay it off our principal with any spare coins that we have. That's the other options. That way you still get into the property at 5%. However, you're paying a little bit more than what is the...
You pay it faster.
Yeah,
so
you
at the
pay
end
faster.
of the day, you're shortening your long term, and also you pay less interest.
So circumstances do change. Like, I mean, at the moment, we went from 2 income to 1 income. Who knows? Maybe in the near future, if my wife decided to go to work, we could probably do the same thing, acquire more, or if not, paying off the loan as quickly as possible. So things can get changed as you go along when it comes to property investing. So
would you suggest LMI?
Depending on your circumstances. As a young first-time investors, just to get yourself at the door, probably not. If you're looking at it to hold in the long term.
Not to get LMI.
No, I would try to acquire 20% down.
Yeah.
Because the stress involved is huge.
Yeah.
I felt it when we didn't have a tenant and they damaged the property, and then it turned out to be that rental income is a lot lower. So that means my repayment is still the same. However, the rental income is a lot lower, plus additional renovation costs. It hit you a lot. Like, you're gonna have a lot more stressful environment, sleepless nights. I guess the financial stress in a sense, because I felt that. Yeah, and I think it's because on top of that we didn't have enough, the reserve in our bank account. So that was it. I thought we do.
Oh well, we had, but it was like draining it.
Yeah, it was draining it.
Draining our bank account.
So imagine that. Picture a scenario where you put down 5%. Your rental income, it doesn't even cover your mortgage repayment plus your expenses.
It was like minus $100 or $200
It's not that
a week,
It's not
right?
that much, right? It's 100,
Yeah.
100, 150 or something like that on that one property. But imagine if it's $100 per property plus 4 properties that we acquire, so that's $400 a week. And if you're earning $1,000, that would mean
half of your income is gone.
Yeah, before you even think of anything, like $400 is down the drain, plus management costs, plus the council rate, plus administration costs. Like let's say that's half of your income is gone, and you're required to feed 4 people based on $500 living in Sydney. So that was very stressful. And if you can, obviously, don't be conservative. Just because the bank said, hey, you can borrow XYZ amount, don't take more than what it's actually acquire. Just because they said, hey, you can borrow this high, but you know your budget is a lot lower, then take the lower one. So, because a lot of things could change in a matter of short 1-2 years in your life.
Yeah.
So, because that's what happened to us. Yeah. So, hopefully that helps you guys. This is coming from our experience.
share with us your experience or your comment as well, because we never know.
See you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye.